Yo, what is going on with you? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be reacting to the shocking secret North Korea can't hide anymore. I was just thinking to myself just the other day, why don't we get news from other countries? We have Russia, China, Mexico, all the other ones, especially places like the UK. Why can't we get their news up to date like we get our news on a day-to-day basis here? I'm sure that we're able to, some websites, some app. If you know, let me know down in the comment section down below, or better yet, over in the Discord. Let's peek behind the veil and see what's going on in North Korea.
The Hermit Kingdom hides more than secrets. It's a land of contradictions. North Korea has been
Land of
sealed off
contradictions.
for decades. It's people living under strict control over what they watch, say, and do.
Oh,
Yet
wow.
behind the curtain lies a darker side of the regime, one full of excess, debauchery, and indulgence. It's a world ordinary North Koreans will never see. So what really goes on?
Yeah,
On
tell me
today's
about
episode of the Infographic Show, we're stepping into North Korea's secret party world. Kang Jin used to be a high-ranking guard in Unit 974, the infamous bodyguard unit tasked with protecting North Korea's elites. For 13 years, he lived in the shadow of Kim Jong-il, the former supreme leader and father of North Korea's current ruler, Kim Jong-un. Kang Jin saw everything in a job that few North Koreans could ever dream of. It was a job that took men away from their families and demanded a lifetime of loyalty, one that literally asked them to be meat shields for their bosses. Yet,
whoa, could you imagine? I mean, we have stuff like that now, like the Secret Service, but a human meat shield as your job title is insane. I could never.
Jin defected. He got out, giving the world a rare look behind North Korea's closed doors. Ordinary North Koreans believed their supreme leader and his acolytes sacrificed everything for the nation, working tirelessly around the clock. But the truth was very different. Jin explained that Kim Jong-il spent much of his time in sprawling villas, luxurious compounds stocked with fine liquor, imported cigarettes, and women. Sometimes he could be found aboard his private yacht surrounded by companions, or at his stables where he and his mistresses paraded on white horses.
He living out there though. Gosh. But it's unfortunate that they have no choice but to do that. That is sad. But he up, man.
When it was time for a party, Jin stood watch outside of a building known as the Center, as the luxury cars of North Korea's elite rolled into the lot. By around 10 p.m., the celebrations would begin. 3, maybe 4 men would enter the villa with Kim. The music started, the drinks flowed, but the real attraction wasn't the alcohol, it was the women. Sometimes dozens for just a handful of men. Many trained for this very role.
They trained? The men or the women?
It was all top secret. What happened at those parties stayed at those parties. In North Korea, breaking that rule could mean the difference between a family living in comfort in the city or being condemned to hard labor in the countryside. Jin's story corroborates previous reports about North Korea's so-called pleasure girls, estimated at around 2,000 strong. The Kipumjo, or the pleasure group, had specialized functions. Defectors describe women sorted into 3 different teams: the satisfaction team for personal services, the happiness team for massage, and the dancing and singing team for performance and entertainment. A declassified document partly titled "The Project to Guarantee Longevity of the Great Leader."
You know, if they got it there, they got it in other countries too, U.S. included. Trust.
Details how female recruits were selected and trained. Each party chief was responsible for assembling a pleasure team, tasked with selecting the women. If the girls were fortunate enough to make it to the top
100? Yo, what? Damn, we got 100 women pleasuring you. That's a different life out there, different world. I'm gonna keep the video going. I'm not gonna say too much. Oh yeah, let me put y'all on though. These right here, my favorite protein bars.
100, their names were sent to Section 5 of the Organization Department, aka the Inner Circle. The top 50 names, consisting of the most beautiful females in the country, then landed on the desk of the Supreme Leader's bodyguards.
That's
with the final
crazy. The top beautifulest woman in the whole entire country. Man.
Selection being made by himself. All the girls were medically tested. If they passed, they underwent intensive training. After this, the girls were placed into one of 33 luxury villas scattered across North Korea. called from modest homes to entertain visiting VIPs. Some were sent overseas for additional instruction. A select few were elevated to the rank of
Crazy
first
work
lieutenant
right
in the bodyguard unit, possibly to supervise other girls, the newbies. One girl, Mi Young, was still a teenager when she was pulled from school. After defecting, she described the moment two men in green uniforms stormed her classroom and dragged her away without warning.
What?
She happened to
Where are their parents at? I know, given their country, their rules, and it's in some aspect, it's an honor for your woman, your daughter to be chosen. That's sad. That's so sad. So sad.
meet the criteria. At least 5 foot 5 inches tall, no scars or blemishes, a soft feminine voice, and a virgin. Her educational background and family history were scrutinized. She was asked if she ever had a serious boyfriend that she had been intimate with.
She should have said yeah. She should have said yup. And I'm not a V. She would have got disqualified immediately.
Next 10 years servicing Kim Jong-il.
How long?
Serious boyfriend that she had been intimate with.
They said
She
10
spent
years?
the next 10 years servicing Kim Jong-il.
Wow.
During that time, she had no contact with her family. If she tried to run, she knew
Can't even create a personal life for herself. It's a different world. Like, do you guys understand? There are billions of people on this planet, and everybody lives a different. Everybody's in a different world. Everybody has their own different mindset, different beliefs, different structure, different routine. Like, you have to be, like, you're blessed to be in the position that you're in, because no one else is living your life. Like, no one is in this room right now fulfilling my position. No one is, where you're at, wherever you're at, thinking the way that you're doing, going about life the way that you are. You just have to say thank you. You just have to say thank you. And, like, appreciate every moment. And you have to just, thank God that you weren't, unfortunately born in this situation. Because it could have been you. Thank God it's not us. Thank God it's not us.
being caught mid-execution. She described the training as rigorous, mostly dancing, massage, and learning how to address North Korean nobility. After passing, she was first made to entertain in the traditional ways, singing, dancing, and giving massages, nothing more. But she believed that had she stayed longer, she would eventually have been forced into more. Lee Il-nam, a nephew of Kim
She
Jong-un,
only did that for 10 years. Thank God. That's nice to know. Man, oh man. I'm just thinking. I'd go to war. I'd go to war for mine. They'd all be taken out. Trust me, if there's a will, there's a way.
Il also wrote about the parties in his memoirs. He described them as booze-filled orgies with women usually aged between 22 and 25. The men drank heavily, playing games where losers stripped off their clothing. Lavish meals were served, and what began with singing and dancing often ended in sexual activities. But these parties weren't just for anyone. Il-nam said that of his 200 or so associates, only 40 men could attend, men of the highest ranks. It seems that some of them felt guilty or were worried the truth would get out. Their shame often translated into sending gifts to the girls, sometimes as much as $4,000.
Damn! And I know that's a lot. Is this U.S. currency or their currency? Either way, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of cheese.
A small fortune in North Korea. According to Il-nam, a few girls married the VIPs. Most weren't so lucky.
How
They
does
went
marriage
home when
work
their
there?
service ended, sworn to secrecy on the pain of death. $4,000 really is a fortune in North Korea, enough to give a woman and her parents a fairly comfortable life. In 2022, a news website focused on North Korea reported that it was not uncommon for people to earn just 5,000 in North Korean won a month. That's about $1 to $3 at the black market exchange.
1 to 3 U.S. dollars. Is that what he's getting ready to say?
Exchange rate, barely enough to cover staples such as rice or corn. Those are the lowest wages. If you have a good education and live in Pyongyang, wages are much higher than elsewhere, especially after 2023's Resolution 23101-9, which increased salaries nationwide for many jobs. News outlets reported dramatic jumps in pay. Workers earning 1,500 won suddenly earned more than 30,000, around $9 on the black market.
Is this US? This has to be US dollars. Dude, if we went there, bro, be having them build us nice, huge houses. Huge houses. They get paid now. I'd tip a good amount. But man, life would be really, really inexpensive.
Mid-level men
Like places like Thailand, you could live really nice with the American dollar out there. I mean, there's a lot of other places too, but like
managers saw salaries leap from 5,000 to 7,000 to as high as 120,000. Even teachers once making just 2,000 a month now earned 120,000. At the top, party secretaries pulled in 150,000.
yeah, but like,
won.
what are you getting
Citizens
with that?
aren't allowed to hold U.S. dollars, and with no official exchange, they rely on the black market at terrible rates. On paper, 150,000 won might look like $166, but in reality, through underground dealers, it would be much less on the streets. So while average North Koreans are technically earning more these days, those at the bottom can still barely afford to eat. Even those who received wage increases remain desperately
but I
poor
want to
on
know
a
what
global
they're able to
scale.
purchase with
According
that.
to
Like, what's
PayLab,
their-
average monthly wages vary across developing nations. In places like Ethiopia and Congo, wages average $60 to $100 a month. In Indonesia, it's just $25. But in North Korea, the minimum may be less than $10. And that is before the black market exchange, where US dollars are essential for many transactions. The regime condemns America, but the greenback remains its favorite currency. Still,
bet.
even with such low pay, the regime has made occasional gestures to appear more humane. After a string of accidents in steel mills, the government recently mandated that shifts could not exceed 8 hours a day. Kim Jong-un himself reportedly lamented that the people in front of the machines are being treated like machines. He even said he wanted public holidays so that workers could enjoy their lives. But that's what he says to the people. It's hard to know how much things have actually progressed. He is under pressure to make changes in a country that seems to be opening its eyes to reality. North Koreans survive however they can. Many sell goods on the black market, DVDs, CDs, or USB drives full of foreign movies. Those are all banned. What Kim Jong-un
How are they
once
getting
called
that?
a cancer on North Korean society. The reason is simple: propaganda. The regime insists the country is a paradise, so its citizens cannot be allowed to glimpse what the outside world really looks like. And despite all of the risks, people continue to sell banned media. Punishments can be brutal. Selling contraband has led to mass executions, sometimes in stadiums with families forced to watch.
Wow.
In 2019, the BBC cited research showing there had been decades of killings for offenses ranging from stealing a cow to watching South Korean TV. Video evidence even showed crowds of up to 1,000 people gathered for public executions in fields, sporting grounds, and schools. The message was clear: breaking the law will not be tolerated. Jin, the former bodyguard, recalled a common saying in
Like, you know how easy it is for the U.S. to just go there and just wipe out the leaders and just be like, y'all are good, and like set up something there and have it be similar to how we have it here. That's crazy. That's kind of crazy to say, isn't it? But y'all see how they living though? Dang, like I would hate to live like that. Truly.
North Korea, only the dead remain silent. He recalled his time at the villas when his boss was with his pleasure girls. Guards would shoot men or women who strayed too close to the gardens, foraging in the so-called special zone. Shoot one and it could mean a promotion. These bodyguards were meant to be
They're getting leveled up like video games.
cream of the crop. Smart, strong, and above all trustworthy. They stayed silent, they never asked questions, and they were strictly forbidden from speaking to the pleasure girls. At most, they caught fleeting glimpses of them or brushed past their private tutors. They weren't allowed inside the parties, they only heard the music from outside, delivering alcohol and cigarettes before returning to their posts on watch. Jin was 31 when he finally left the service of the supreme leader. That was all he had known since he was 17. He was sworn to secrecy, but when he returned to normal society and he saw the TV and newspapers praising the leader's tireless devotion, it didn't sit well with him. How could it after what he had seen? It was all a lie, and he was forced to keep it to himself. One day, he saw a dead body at a train station. No one moved it. For 3 days, it lay there rotting as people looked away.
I've heard of that.
Jin, from a family of soldiers, what he called true loyalists, felt sick as the image of that corpse clashed with the memories of Kim and his cronies living in luxury. And then, like so many others, he became hungry. Despite once serving at the highest levels, he survived on thin porridge. When the porridge ran out, he simply didn't eat. He had no children to care for him in old age. His wife had already died of tuberculosis.
Wow.
Once their service ended, guards were usually rewarded with a university education and a decent career. Jin applied for the state security department and was close to being accepted until he was suddenly disqualified without
Really?
explanation. Later, he learned that he had a distant aunt, a woman
How? How did you know I had a distant aunt that did what?
he had never met, who had defected to South Korea years earlier. When
What?
they had first vetted him, they hadn't looked hard enough. He had tried all his life
I
to
would've
be
been like, y'all
loyal,
made that
but
up.
hungry and broke, he realized the regime had abandoned him. The brainwashing, as he put it, began to crack, and disillusionment turned into rage. Eventually, he managed to track down that aunt in South Korea and began secretly communicating with her. She sent him $1,500.
Dang, yo, she up. Shout out aunt though. Okay, no, that really happened. Okay.
Which allowed him to live comfortably, but with one condition: he became a broker between defectors in the South and their families still trapped in the North. It was a dangerous job, and he was almost discovered. So on a bitter winter's day, he crossed the Amnok River into China and never looked back. That was many years ago. The world he left behind has drastically changed. There's less starvation now and better wages, but with modernity, the younger generation is demanding more transparency. This is giving the regime a migraine and resulting in frightening crackdowns by security services. Unlike in Jin's time, North Koreans today have greater chances to glimpse the outside world through digital technology. The internet remains heavily censored, and it's only available to a chosen few. Normal people can only look at approved websites.
Yeah, because all the system is ran on servers, and the way that their servers are set up, they're not able to access anything on the outside. But if you know what you're doing, you're able to get around it. Get a peek behind the veil, see what's going on in America. What's up?
While the state
found my
media is
video.
nothing but propaganda about the great achievements of the leadership. But even in North Korea, reality slips under the locked doors meant to keep the rest of the world out. Recently, police in Pyongyang had to make several arrests after discovering that high school students were secretly making online payments.
What were
The
they
state
buying?
media declared that these payments were having a non-socialist impact on teens. The students weren't shopping on foreign platforms, they were just spending on markets, arcades, or food.
Wow.
But the sight of teenagers flashing digital money while so many lived in poverty clashed with the regime's claim that everyone is equal. Parents pushed back, arguing the world was changing, that young people wanted freedom, and suppressing it would only spark rebellion. News reports said that changes are mostly coming from China, which might want North Korea to join modern civilization. China's where most of the electronic goods come from, where the USBs full of music, TV shows, and movies are made. It turns a blind eye to those factories and shops, while smugglers on the North Korean side risk their lives daily. Change is creeping in. An anonymous source said constant crackdowns can't keep up as devices keep flowing in through hidden channels. Worse for the regime, people now know that the families of security officers and inspectors use these devices more than anyone else. So, the regime is now worried about social upheaval. In May 2025, police were ordered to seek out foreign nationals or outsiders, non-socialist elements, or signs of illegal business activities. The people were not happy about the police entering their homes and rooting through their belongings. One of the
their
main
rooms
reasons
up.
for the surveillance was to find people who had luxuries far beyond what their jobs paid them. Money coming from underground activities that the regime says create
They
instability.
found a G-Shock in his room and is ready to set him up. Oh my gosh. Found a Casio.
Unlike the regime and its top cadres, regular people aren't supposed to make money outside of the job they've been handed.
Wow.
20 years ago,
There's
such
no
words were
entrepreneurs out there. I'm so proud of being American.
not spoken. North Koreans rarely question the government's narratives. Westerners might still believe all North Koreans live in a vacuum of propaganda and remain ignorant. But it's not the case these days. As another anonymous North Korean civilian noted, many people now question it when they're told to live in a, quote, socialist paradise where everyone is equal. It couldn't be more unequal. With a GDP of just $32 billion, North Korea is not a rich country.
They got money. They got some money, though.
The world per capita, only above Yemen, Afghanistan, and some African nations. The government dictates what goods can be produced, how much should be made, and then it sets the price. It still controls nearly the entire economy, but since the 21st century it has eased up, opening up trade with China worth about $3.25 billion. That trade has helped prevent disasters like the famine of the late 1990s, which killed an estimated 500 to 600,000 people. But there's a darker economy, one that regular people take nothing from at all. The regime bans its citizens from earning on the black market, yet it secretly trains hackers, blamed for a $1.5 billion crypto heist in Dubai in 2025.
Dang.
The US and UK say that North Korea is behind some of the world's most expensive hacks. Reports also point to phone scams worth around $600 million a year, and according to South Korean intelligence, the country runs thousands of illegal gambling sites valued in the billions. Western media often points
Hold on, that just went past me. I gotta run that back.
But there's a darker economy, one that regular people take nothing from at all. The regime bans its citizens from earning on the black market, yet it secretly trains hackers, blamed for a $1.5 billion crypto heist in Dubai in 2025. The US and UK say that North Korea is behind some of the world's most expensive hacks. Reports also point to phone scams.
How? How are they that skilled? Like, they have to be getting, that type of intelligence from, nearby nations. China, South Korea. I don't know the full scope, but I am interested. I'm going to have to do some, side quest digging.
Worth around $600 million a year, and according to South Korea...
all phone scams. I'm sure there's others, but... How? Who are they? Which countries are they calling? They have to be running those same scams here in the US, but man, technology is so advanced, yo. It's more advanced than any of us could ever imagine. The stuff they have, that's not out into the public, it'll blow your mind. It'll blow your mind to pieces. But that's a different video. Conversation like that over in lounges over in the Discord. Make sure you're in there.
Korean intelligence, the country runs thousands of illegal gambling sites valued in the billions. Western media often points to Room 39, a secretive North Korean organization that sends workers abroad to funnel cash back to the regime. Its alleged activities include counterfeiting currency, arms smuggling, narcotics trafficking, and operating shady casinos in Southeast Asia, mainly in Cambodia. So while many regular North Koreans subsist on porridge or risk being industrious, the elites rake in fortunes like organized crime syndicates. That's how high-ranking officials and their families can shop at Hermes, Hennessy, Mercedes-Maybach, and buy fancy European watches. The Kim dynasty lives in a completely different universe from ordinary citizens. Kim Jong-il reportedly spent hundreds of thousands of dollars a year importing Hennessy cognac and kept a private library of more than 20,000 films. He claimed to hate America, but he loved Hollywood.
Right. Come on now.
Favorites included Westerns, Sean Connery, and even Friday the 13th. His son owns a fleet of luxury cars smuggled in despite UN sanctions. One is valued at about $200,000. Another, a custom-made Mercedes-Maybach S600 Pullman Guard, is estimated to cost between $500,000 and $1.6 million. He's said to have 4 yachts, including one valued at between $4 and $6 million.
That is crazy. Man.
His personal plane, a Soviet-era Ilyushin Il-62, may not turn heads among billionaires, but reports say it's been retrofitted with luxury interiors. Satellite images have revealed Kim's sprawling seaside mansion in Wonsan, complete with a private water park and horse riding facilities. The family said to own 17 palaces and countless villas equipped with state-of-the-art electronics and designer furniture. One even has its own 1,600-foot airstrip. The family had 12 train stations built just for them. On board their luxury trains, reports say they dined on haute cuisine from around the world, washed down with French wine and Cristal champagne. Despite those sanctions, they've repeatedly been caught importing luxury goods worth hundreds of
That was a
millions of
rollie on
dollars.
his wrist.
They're often seen flaunting them too.
Protect.
In 2024, Kim's sister, Kim Yo-jong, was photographed in Russia carrying a Christian Dior purse valued at $7,500. Insiders who serve the regime well are sometimes rewarded with luxury cars or watches worth tens of thousands. In reality, sanctions hurt ordinary people, not the elites. A 2013 report estimated the Kim family's net worth at about $5 billion, a sixth of the present GDP. Much of this wealth isn't in official accounts, it's hidden overseas. North Korea is said to have secret bank accounts in Austria, China, Liechtenstein, Luxembourg, Russia, Singapore, and of course Switzerland.
That's how you gotta have your money, though. Like, that's how we have to have our money. I'm working on so much stuff on the side. I don't even want to speak too much. Like, I'm not there yet, but best believe.
2016, The Guardian reported that a British banker had helped North Korean elites set up offshore accounts, even though those accounts were tied to arms trafficking. The U.S. has also accused British offshore firms of dealing with Pyongyang. In the world of shady finance, offshore empires rarely ask questions. But change is brewing in North Korea. Reality is slowly washing over the population, leaving behind a grim truth. The elites may bribe the girls with small fortunes, but they cannot bribe an entire nation. While the elite's secret parties would shock the nation, they are nothing compared to everyday life.
And there you guys have it. The shocking secret North Korea can't hide anymore. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that down in the comment section down below. There's a lot of things that we just don't know about, and this is just not even 1%. It's just surface level. Imagine what lies beneath. But I'm gonna catch you in the next video. Tune in, never tune out. Remember, every day you have a choice. Choose growth. I'll catch you in the next video. Love you, appreciate you. It's ATM. I'm signing out. Deuces.